Hey y'all, welcome back. And guess what? It's June and we're in Pride. Happy Pride, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Tessa Talks. And guess what the episode topic is today? Of course, Pride. So let's go ahead and jump right into the episode. All right, my babies, how are y'all? Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride. Happy Pride. Can somebody please pray over that or do something? Happy fucking Pride. Are you shitting me? Miss Thing, I am drunk. I'm a fucking woman. You are talking about happy Pride? Are you? There's no shade to the LGBT community, and I love all of them. I'm an ally. Bitch, I got fucking ovaries.
Happy Pride. How y'all doing so far? It's the first week of Pride. All right. Last week we had Black Gay Pride. It was a lot going on. Or the week before that, one of the two. Listen, it was a lot going on. All right. I had a great time. I had gotten to catch up with some siblings, family, things of that nature. I told you guys that last week, right? Also, sorry, y'all probably hear Scooby. He's sitting outside the door. Yeah. If y'all didn't know, I have two beautiful dogs. Okay, Scooby Doo and Scrappy Blue. All right. Yeah, those are my babies. My pride and joy. My pride and joy. Also my headache sometimes, but my pride and joy. I love them boys. Sweetest boys on the planet. But yeah, anyway. So far this week has been great for me. Busy. Busy. I am in school for my bachelor's in digital cinematography, and I am working it out. I'm really working it out. And so far so good. On my way to my 3.0. One more class and I think I got it. I think I got it after this course that I'm in this month before summer break. And then I'm gonna be good. The girl should be good, y'all. The girl should be good for her 3.0 before the year's out. And that's all I really care about right now is school, work, and it's just been a long week, but it's been a good week so far. At the time of I'm recording this, which is the Thursday morning, yeah, it's been a good week. But outside of that, let's get into this Pride Month, right? The question I want to hold for everybody while you're watching this video is, what does Pride Month mean to you? Right? This can be for my cis heterosexual, my cis heterosexual, my cis gay population. This is for everybody. My trans sisters and brothers, non-binaries, what my non-binaries. But What does pride mean to y'all? What does it really, really mean to me? Comment below and tell me, what does it mean to you? I mean that. Comment below. All right. And let's start where like it really began, right? Let's do a little searchy search. Okay? Stonewall. That's where we're gonna start at. We all should know. It's 2026. We all should know about Stonewall by now, right? And if we don't, I'm gonna give you like a quick little paragraph, right? Stonewall riots were a series of spontaneous violent demonstrations by the LGBT community against a police raid that began on June 28th, 1968 at the Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village, New York City. Now, that is what Google is going to tell you if you was to go type in Stonewall into Google, right? But it was more than just some violent acts, right? It was the birth of a liberation. It was the start of an ongoing and still prevalent fight, right? You all know who Marsha P. Johnson is, right? The brave and legendary trans femme woman of her time, doing what we do best, and that's shaking the table. Well, in her case, throwing the brick. So her and her good old friend, I believe her name is Samantha. I ain't even gonna hold you. I ain't even pay attention to her. Okay, my girl Marsha P. All right, Skinfo. That's who I. But I believe it's Samantha, and I believe she was a Latina who also stood beside her, stood behind her throughout that riot, right? But like I was saying, it was the start of something big for us. Because again, Pride Month isn't what everybody likes to think it is on the surface level, right? It's not about us just expressing our sexuality and being naked and showing our bodies and being sexually liberated, right? That's not what Pride Month is about at its core, right? It's a part of it. But I don't believe, me, by my definition of pride, it is not that. Especially with this conversation nowadays that we are having within community. The LGB versus the T, because I will consider myself a heterosexual straight trans woman, heterosexual straight, same thing. Trans woman, meaning that yes, I am a trans woman, but I only deal with men, trans or cis, but men strictly. Like, so there's no cis or other trans women, there's no trans femme and things of that nature. And with pride, it's kind of hard because me as an individual I am an all-inclusive person. When I say all-inclusive, meaning I love everybody for who they are, what they identify as, and things of that nature, as long as you are not identifying as another species. But that's neither here or there, That's neither here or there. But I would say that with the dynamics that we have within community nowadays, it's really hard to say where my pride lies in. Right? Follow me. Right? Because I don't think people understand what community hurt is also. And What is there really to be prideful about when your community also does not see you, nor hears you, nor protects you? I want y'all to sit on that for a second. Because it's hard as a black trans woman to see within community that we have a small fraction of men that will validate, not just validate, see us and are willing to protect us. And these men are usually gay men, trans men. Um, or the roundabout, you might get yourself a good little trade for the girls who might get them a good little trade here and there, or got them a good gay brother and things of that nature. And I have me, a good two or three, quick call right quick, but, but at the same time, it's like it's hard when we have not led community movements, but started them and have progressed in the work on the ground in community on a day-to-day basis, and still get overshadowed by our cis counterparts. So within community now, the LGB versus the T, well, how are we supposed to celebrate Pride then? Right? If it's just going to be based on the sexuality and we're wanting to separate the T, which is not just the sexuality, but it's also it's an identity, right? And with all of this, where is there to be prideful about right now when we're so conflicted against one another? And this is also going for my black community too, because mind you, I'm black and trans. Mind you, I said black and trans. Black first, right? So with that being said, the same type of conversation that I have here with the LGB versus the T conversation is the same conversation that I would have with black individuals when it's black cis individuals versus black queer individuals. And that also includes trans people. Again, not only do we have to go and make these spaces for ourselves, right? But when we go and make these spaces for ourselves, there are complaints or lack of support, you know? Just lack of support. We record with, hopefully the quality gets a little bit more better, more studio production like, because that's what that bad boy is for. You know, spent money on it for a reason, right? I gotta use it. But back to what I was saying about like Pride Month. Yeah, it's just lack of support with things, right? We have amazing leaders here in DC all the time. One named Aya Damons. She's been running the game. She's been having boots on the ground for a while, right? Since I've came back to DC in 2019. That's the first name that kind of popped up, when it came down to activists and things of that nature. And then you have Hope Giselle, but one major leader, and she just passed away. May she rest in peace. She was also an auntie of mine. um, auntie in community, Savannah Wanzer, right? She was a powerhouse here. She was the founder of May is Trans here in Washington. Well, May and Trans, period, to my belief, but here in DC. Um, and all Black Pride weekend we did was just just live for her. You know, we gathered together, we said words together. Um, I did not go to majority of events, but I did go to the church that she invited me to, and I just stood in the back as everyone said their kind words to about Savannah and the work that she's done here in the city and the impact that she's played on people's lives. And I it took me back to a moment where me and her were having a conversation when I first got into activism and doing advocacy work and doing community work, period, is that she told me never to give up on myself and to make sure to always get my coin, right, when doing anything for community. Because when it comes down to us trans women, community loves to use us, right? Community loves us for advertising. Community loves us for our stories. Community loves us for our work, our voices, our numbers, right? And so she was again a powerhouse. But alongside with her, and may she rest in peace once again, um, we have Miss Erlene Budd here. We have Kanaya Walker. She's a sister. She is also my VP and my in my she's my VP for the board that I sit on is Flux. And these things are these women, sorry, not these things. Ooh. These women, these leaders, and not just the women, but we have trans men leaders too. Tyree Williams, Q the Mood, um, and we have a couple of others here in the city that are coming out. You know, we're needing them to, and not just here, but I see them all over. Right, on TikTok, I see more presence coming from trans men specifically, and it's starting to be a a good feel for me, right? But I'm also stuck because now I'm also seeing that our own community wants us separated from them, with also not understanding where we took them. We brought all of us, right? We need more of us in the field every day, showing communities that we're present. Our representation for us needs to be here. We've earned this. Just the same way that they are asking and begging for their rights to their bodily autonomy, so are we. So we deserve to be in these communities, helping, surviving, doing the work too, right? But what Pride Month has always shown me, right, since my very first Pride. Okay, you know what? Quick little story time. Quick little story time. Quick little story time. My first Pride Month was not in Washington, D.C., it was in Salt Lake City, Utah. Salt Lake City, Utah. Um, Mind you, born and raised here. Born and raised here. Left to go be with my dad. My dad was a Sagittarius man and frolicked his ass across the country for some reason. I know the reason, but that is not to be disclosed. And lo and behold, he landed there. And long story short, grew up to be about like junior in high school, went to go stay with him for a summer, ended up staying out there for the rest of the year. And graduated, ended up going living on my own with friends, ended up going to be at my first Pride event with a high school friend of mine. Seeing as that we all just graduated, and I was the token black queer person of the school, of course, coming from across the country. And it was also the first place for me to actually be myself. When I say I had no bars, no cut cards, I've seen nudity was, of course, part of it, but it wasn't like a stress for me. Good girl, I didn't jumped off the porch mad early. Ma, if you ever watch this, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. But your child. Okay. Your oldest. Your oldest was a mess from middle school. Still. But yeah, it was the first time I had felt like my ultimate self, full heartedly, without no bars. It just flowed out of me. I'll post some pictures, possibly, maybe, because I looked the fuck. Mind you, I was a fat thing. I was a little thick. I was a thick little thing. All right, I was a thick little thing. But yeah, it was definitely a experience that I would never forget. And I was also working the parade. That was the bonus. The bonus was my friend's mom was working a float, and they asked if I wanted to join and walk in the parade. And it was my very first parade. And I said, my very first Pride period. And I said, why not? Why not? You know? Why not? Why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. And so we did it. And it was fantastic. I got to dance with this phenomenally looking caramel chocolate boy that I knew I had no business dancing on him the way that I did. At the age of 17, 18. Because it was like the summer of my 18th birthday, so I'm going to say 18. Yeah, a little young hot thing just out there trying it. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. The times, man, the times. But anyway, I just remember Pride being so much more peaceful and safe and exciting. Like, I was excited to go to Pride, right? I was excited. I'd call up all my homegirls and all my homeboys and be like, what y'all doing? Well, y'all want to go to Pride? Like, y'all come to Pride with me? Like, what? And it'd be down, right? I was in Utah. Listen, this is my first overall Caucasian experience, but it was, oddly enough, I would always find and attract the melanated individuals, and we would have a ball still. We would all be having fun. It was never so uptight until I came back home. Mind you, I was over in Utah for about like 6 years, 5, 6 years, max, because then I came back home in 2019 officially. So yeah, I left in what, 13, came back in 19. And all of that, After Pride, it was like, all right, I became what you see today, you know? And so for me coming home now and seeing how like Pride is more of like Pride isn't really, it's separated for one. Back here on this side, it's separated for one. We have a Black Pride, and then we have Capital Pride, which everybody has, right? Everybody has their Pride Month celebration and Pride events, right? And I'm gonna only speak for my region of the areas. Okay, I'm gonna talk about like New York and Philly and DC and stuff, right? I'm gonna talk about the places that I've been and I've noticed some things. I love New York Pride. That's for one. Love New York Pride. New York Pride T. Always had a great time going to New York Pride. Never had an issue. Always super inclusive. You find your peoples there. You find your squad, things of that nature. And I typically don't even dwell. I find my nerd clique real quickly. Once I find my nerds, it's a wrap. But DC Pride is a little bit different. It's more either a fuck hole or like it's overly expensive. So it's like a money hole. So you got that. Yeah. And then it's really dry. The events don't be fun like that. And it's probably me because I'm antisocial most of the time. You know, I'll go get me a little drink and I'll scope the scenery. I'll walk around, do my thing, say hi to a couple of peoples, right? But these last few prides has been more fighting I've seen and more aggression in the people than ever. And I think it's because of Trump. I know it's because of Trump. It's because of Trump. But it's like, I know, and then we got Miss Aya Damons, right? She's in Baltimore, and she's going to be doing Baltimore Pride. I'm going to post that here. She's going to be doing Baltimore Pride. Right? And I'm going to tiptoe through because she got some people's coming through. She got Dominique Morgan coming through, and she just got out of her situation through, and she is deserving because she's going to be Grand Marshal. Yes, Auntie, clock that, periods. Come out and still march and step on X. I like that. Period. Trailblazer. Icon. Legend. You know, I ain't going to talk too much on that situation because I have yet to even really understand it. But I'm a roll for a black trans woman at the end of the day, for real, for real. But, wrong is wrong, right is right. As long as my sister's free, my auntie free. I'm so pro-black. Everything black don't need to be in jail. For every little shit. Come on now. Yeah, everything. Come on. Make it make sense. But, we're gonna be having a good old time. I'm gonna tiptoe through. I'm gonna try to. I work that day. I already looked at the schedule. But you know what? It's transpired. So I told them I'm going to go ahead and leave. Y'all don't give me the day off. I'm going to just go ahead and leave. And you ain't going to do nothing about it. They might, but I don't give a fuck. I really don't. You know, when you a hustler and you get two jobs, you know. You gotta do what you gotta do. You make the coins. How you make the coins? That's not laying you in your back. You don't gotta lay on your back all the time, girl, to make the coins. I promise you to make the coins legitimately. You don't have to lay on your back to get the coins legitimately.
Money
Don't
can't
you
buy
love
class.
it? No.
It sure
And money
cannot.
couldn't buy you a new pussy, could it?
Anyway, but yeah, so we got Baltimore Trans Pride, and I like that. I've never heard that. We had the Trans Visibility March that was founded by another heavy hitter within community work, Miss Marissa Miller. She is also a mother of mine in community, and she taught me a lot, not just about the work that we do in community for Pride to even really exist and continue to exist, and for our existence as a community period to still thrive. The work that she does is so impactful on a political level, right? Because Pride is not also just about, liberation and sexuality and smacks and sex and things of that nature and all this and this and that. Sorry, I said smacks. Hold the hell on. This is not TikTok. What the fuck? Get it together. Get it together, Tessa. Sex and stuff like that. But LGBTQIA is very political. Right? A lot of people don't understand that the humanity and the diplomatic political power that can come with, and rights that come with LGBT people, right? Y'all realize that a lot of the things that, like, again, the reason why Pride even comes to existence was why we fought, right? Was our rights, our humanity to even be seen, heard, and visible, to even have a space to thrive and be and exist in all of us, right? From our gayness, queerness, lesbianism, transness, any of that. It was just, that's what we are celebrating, and the hard work that we are putting into this to be acknowledged that we are human and we deserve the same rights as any other human, right? But let's stay on track to Pride, right? And back to the LGB versus T conversation, because that's just something that is really stuck on my heart, seeing as this month is Pride Month. And I feel a disconnect within community. I feel like the cis gay part of the community is wanting to be the same type of oppressive power system that they have been put on. The bullied gets bullied, and the bully, it's so on. The once you were bullied, you become a bully, blah blah blah, right? And that's kind of the concept that is happening. And when I bring this up to Black gay individuals, I get looked at crazy, or I get a defensive wall, as if I shouldn't be bringing this up, or I shouldn't be talking about this. But these are individuals who are pro-Black, right? That I had these conversations with. These are individuals that call themselves allies, right? And that's another thing about that word. I don't like the word allies. I don't. That means we have to, for us to have an allyship, right? There has to be some type of negotiation. Because this is what I think, this is how my brain translates allyship, right? In order for you to be an ally to me, we have to either trade something right? Something must be in an exchange, right? It might be in an understanding, right? It might be your morals, your ethics, right? It might even just be monetary. It might be your body. Whatever it may be, it could be an exchange. And I don't like that with Allah. So a lot of them like to think that because they are in proximity that they believe that they either have the experience and they can either speak for us versus doing what is allies are supposed to be doing and is just supporting, right? And a lot of them get support and what is it called, centering themselves mixed up. Right? It becomes, oh, I'm an ally, I'm the good one, right? I'm the good one, I'm here to help, I'm here to help educate. Yet, to be completely honest, your purpose is to help those and uplift those. When I say help, don't speak over. I have this problem all the time within like social media spaces when we're having community talk, right? A lot of cis individuals, cis heterosexual and cis homosexual, right? Tendency have a tendency of either censoring themselves within the conversation or running and monologuing within the conversation, right? And that is kind of what I say I don't like about allies, because it comes off performative. If you're going to really be an ally, the support should just come natural. It should just click, right? The acknowledgement comes if, you know, the work that is being done should be validated. I don't know if that's how validation or if that's how like things work. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Let me know. Just let me know. Okay? Okay. We're going to wrap up this episode here soon, but I just wanted to say that about allies and allyship, right? If we're going to call each other, if we're going to call you allies, I need you guys to do your part in doing the uplifting, right? Don't speak for us, right? You don't have our experience. You don't live our experience. You can't really tell our stories, right? So just do us a big favor. Stand behind us. No, not even behind. Yeah, stand behind us and push us forward. That's what we need. Shit. If you even that, stand beside us and hold our hand while we're telling the story. Excuse me if you heard that. So that's my note on the whole allyship with Pride Month. I think again, this whole LGB versus the T conversation is crazy right now, especially throughout Pride Month. But again, that goes back to this is LGBT has become a lot more political. Well, it has always been political, but within the political climate that we are in right now, right, it is hard when we have such a divisive, oppressive system being such upheld right now, especially here in my city in Washington DC, right? It's kind of hard. Funding for different things are being taken left and right, and so when we need community support, it's becoming very scarce, right? And I don't want to take anything that is already being done from anyone in our communities when I say what I'm about to say. But I think right now where we need to take the shift of pride is from more of a celebratory kind of stance to more of a to more of a progressive kind of stance, right? We're trying to move on from celebrating. I think we should move on from just celebrating just coming out. I think we need to celebrate the entirety of progressing within our community. And again, it in acknowledging our youth more, right? Uplifting these younger voices so that we can start changing the narrative of what our community is and what it is to be and to have Pride Month, right? Because until we can come together and start actually moving things community wise, state to state, right? We all have this notion and start hearing each other and identifying in each other, and stop trying to be quick to devise and divide, then what's the point of having pride, period? That's just where I'm at, right? That's where I'm at. I also think I probably have talked. I haven't talked a lot, right? But, I like to talk. That's why we're here. Tessa Talks, guys. Tessa Talks a lot. She likes to, right? Especially when I talk a nigga's ear off sometimes. He was like, just go on. Just go on about your business. Shit. Okay. Talk to you later. See you later. But that's gonna be it for me. Right? That's just a little bit. What does pride mean to you guys? What does it mean to you guys? Where do you want to see pride at within the next 10 years? How would you want your kids to be a part of pride? Like, I just want to, like, how would you want pride to look for you and your family? Right? Drop those down in the comments. Like this up. Again, guys, this is another episode of Tessa Talks. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And happy Pride. Catch you next week. See ya.